Okay, so Doctor Sleep is directed by Mike Flanagan, and it stars Ewan McGregor and Rebecca Ferguson. And it involves Ewan McGregor, who plays an older version of Danny Torrance, who, kind of like his father, he's becoming an alcoholic mess. And one day he discovers that a young girl has the same shining abilities as he does. And when he discovers that there's a cult going after her, he tries to protect her by any means necessary while battling his own demons. So when I first heard about a Shining sequel being made, I don't know, I was interested, but at the same time I was kind of worried. Because I think The Shining is a really good movie. It's a movie that I love more and more each time I see it. And this movie can't compete with The Shining, I know that right away. And Mike Flanagan, I hear he's a great director. I haven't seen a lot of his movies, unfortunately. I haven't seen Oculus or his Ouija movie, or any of his Netflix movies, unfortunately. But I have seen The Haunting of Hill House. And, that show was really good for the most part, but then the ending happened, and I really didn't care for the ending, which you could probably say that about this movie. Overall, I think this movie it's good. It's definitely well acted. It's definitely very interesting. It's definitely not like The Shining, but it's its own thing, and I think that's what makes this movie work. The acting, for the most part, all across the board, is really good, particularly from Ewan McGregor, Rebecca Ferguson, and the actress who plays the young girl in this movie. I didn't get her name before making this video. They're all really good in this movie. There are actors in this movie as well who are cast to basically be replicas of various characters who are from The Shining who are not around for this movie. Like, there's someone who plays Dick Hallorann, there's someone who plays, Wendy Torrance. And I thought they did an alright job. Like, that's the thing, this is a really well-acted movie. I guess the main issue that I have with this movie is that it's not really that well written, I'll say that. Because, most of you probably know, Stephen King hates The Shining movie, because it has nothing to do with his Shining book. And watching this movie and then looking up what Doctor Sleep was actually about, yeah, this movie is not what Doctor Sleep was really about. Like, not entirely. So it's kind of like that. It's like, the best way to describe this movie is that Mike Flanagan tried to combine both King's version of The Shining as well as Stanley Kubrick's style of The Shining. And for the most part, it works. But there are definitely some moments where it's like, I don't know, I feel like neither King or Kubrick would approve of the choices that they made in this movie. So, yeah, overall, I feel like this movie has some, it definitely has great moments. It definitely becomes more intense as the movie goes on. The cinematography and score are really good. I also really liked how it opened, where it's like, okay, we're going to open it with the old style logo for Warner Brothers and just play that Shining music as well, because, like, yeah, this is the Shining sequel, you gotta throw in some references to it, and I'll get to that. As far as, like, the whole references go, I didn't mind them as much. Because, like, at first they were, like, fine, they were, like, not in your face as much. Because, like, there's a scene where Ewan McGregor's talking to some guy in the room that's, like, the opening scene of The Shining, when Jack Nicholson is talking in his interview. Like, I thought that worked. It's like, oh, you're in that room, that's kind of clever. But then, like, at the end, if you want to consider the spoilers, fine. But at the end, they basically try to throw in as many references to The Shining as possible. And I don't know if I really like that. Because, like, okay, let's just throw out this one, and let's just throw out this one, and let's just throw out this one. And, again, it just didn't work for me, because it was like, yeah, we get it, they're at the Overlook Hotel, and it's like, we get it, I remember this, but it's not really as effective. But overall, like, this movie obviously wants to be its own thing, but it also wants to be an homage to both The Shining and Stephen King. And again, I think the best thing of this movie is when it doesn't do that. It does its own thing. So overall, I feel like I would give this movie, I would still say see it. It's like, I'll give it 3 out of 4 stars. It's definitely worth watching at some point. But just go into this movie, if you still can because it's not playing anywhere anymore. Just go into this movie knowing it's not The Shining, knowing it's its own thing. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on Doctor Sleep. What is your favorite Stephen King book or movie? Or do you prefer The Shining book or Shining movie? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Take care.